that you haven't contributed any funds of your own. And we'll talk about these as we go through the different examples. So how do you set the funding up to support your not just investment strategy, but also from a pure at home with what's going on with the home loan, etc. I use some terminology which is not high tech, and that is that there's simply good debt and bad debt in anyone's situation when it comes to strategy. The home or home loan, as we call it, is bad debt, and you will see that referred to as personal or bad debt throughout the presentation. Credit cards, car loans, holiday loans, personal loans, etc. are all bad debt because you're not able to claim them. And they typically attract a very high interest rate, so therefore get rid of those as quickly as you can. And that's part of any strategy that we would work through with you, is not just to give you a sharper, perhaps, home loan rate, but also look at these other items and do something with them. Some clever things that can be done as part of that. On the other side of the equation is affordable investment debt. So the number one thing, and speaking, I suppose, about a personal story, my older brother, as an example, cannot gather or get his head around the concept of having another home loan or an investment loan outside of what he's got today with his home. And that's just a mindset thing. So therefore, we've been through so many discussions over many years and showing him how it works, and he just cannot accept the fact that, there's another debt sitting off to the side. And that's okay. At least, he's explored it and worked it through. And I understand the fact that, it can be a big number. So using, again, the same example of 400,000, it's a big dollar amount, on top of the home loan. But I think there's a sensible way to step through that affordability process, and also making sure that you've got, I suppose, safeguards in place to make sure that it is very, very affordable. So things like benchmark rates. When you apply for a loan, the banks apply a benchmark rate. So for those of you who don't understand that, the interest rate you pay today, let's say, for example, it's 4% on your home loan. The bank, when you went for that loan, would have tested your ability to repay that loan on probably 6.5%, 7%, or maybe even 7.5%. to make sure that you are comfortable in taking that loan on board. We use a benchmark rate higher than what the banks apply. So it's one of the things that we do and always have to make sure that it is absolutely comfortable when it comes to that investment side. We also look at the buffers. So we model out for clients, okay, the near perfect world says you might have a tenant in your property for 50 weeks a year, and they're going to pay, $400 a week in rent. What happens if interest rates were to increase? So your interest repayments are higher, and let's say that you had to drop your rent by $20 a week. Let's say that you had unexpected vacancy in that property for an extra, 4 weeks a year. They're the things that we model out to make sure that the buffers are fully explained and you understand that affordability side when it comes to investing. The structuring around that is key, and particularly in today's world where you're seeing now, and that's a comment at the back down the bottom there. Did you read the recent investor loan announcement from the bank? So as late as this afternoon, we've even seen change around this space where some of the banks are saying we don't want any more investor loans. Others are saying we'd love to have some more. So getting the structure right, you're able to then change banks, even part of your portfolio, and stay ahead of that game, which we'll talk about as we go through. We also run some of those what-if scenarios where, as an example, we don't take someone who's got a lot of overtime in their salary. We reduce that right back so that if his or her circumstances change in terms of their workplace, they can still afford the particular strategy that they went ahead with. So when we talk about wealth and some of the